person
Is that
everyone
on?
sees. It's on. Your hair sticking up high.
Well, I just came out of the rain. It's pouring rain here, and my hair is a mess. You guys are not looking at me in
What a
my
way to
best hair.
what a way to start.
Oh, it's been quite a day here in New England. It's been windy and gusty, and trees are falling all over the place. And Merry Christmas.
So, yeah.
It beats
Happy
snow.
Thanksgiving. Moving on
Happy
since
Thanksgiving.
October.
We haven't. We apologize to you guys. Patrick, how many people do we have on our subscribers now?
Oh, getting close to. I think we're. Geez, someone actually made a comment. 26,000.
26?
Yeah, they
Seems
said
like it's
thank you.
been 26 for a long
I know.
time. But anyhow, 26,000 is pretty good. I don't even know how we got to that. How long have we been on, Patrick?
Since 2011. Over
2011.
10 years.
So over 10 years. So we've been doing pretty good. We probably could do much better if we just put a camera overhead at the shop and just followed me all day long.
Talk about what you've been up to for the past 2 months, how things have been.
How are things been?
Great.
Well, I've had a sciatica for the last 3 weeks, which is very painful. I have to say it's not part of the job. Usually, I blame my back problems on lifting a sofa or something, but in this case, it's not. It's a nerve problem. But boy, you talk about pain. But you guys don't want to hear about that. But it does when you're self-employed and you're trying to run a shop. It does interfere with productivity. So I guess for all you people who are earning a living at upholstery or want to earn a living at upholstery, you probably should have backup plans in case you can't work. I happen to have a couple of backups, people that could jump in and help me, which they had. You still have to be at the shop because I still have and rely on walk-ins. And Malcolm's been one of our best supporters. Patrick, he's here.
Malcolm.
Says welcome back. I just built an electric lift for my work table to power back issues. You know what I did, Malcolm?
Oh, that's cool.
I had a friend of mine who's a really good upholsterer. He's an Italian upholsterer. This guy is like really good. He's older than I am, and he came in, and I had fit out my cutting table so that it's up to here on me. And he came in. He's short, Tom Patrick.
Yeah.
It was his head leveled at the table, the cutting table. He says, "What's this for?" I said, "I had to raise the cutting table in order to cut because I couldn't bend over." And I was proud of the fact that I actually upholstered a sofa, you guys, on my back. Took me 2 weeks, but I did it on my back, if you can believe it. Most of it was done on my back. It came out pretty good. But people, you forget how physically demanding upholstery can be. Stretching fabric, for instance, you have to stretch fabric, and this sofa was an upholstered seat, upholstered back. I don't know if I have a picture of it instead of describing it, but it required a great amount of stretching, which is hard to do when you have nerve pain. But you manage, and I have to say, it's probably beats sitting at home and feeling sorry for yourself. You get up and do what you need to do. I was just noticing Malcolm's icon. He's got a King #1. I don't know what that means. What's that mean, Patrick?
#1 fan.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you, Malcolm. So I just got an email from an online class person, and I wanted to address that first because I told her I would. She said, "Hi, Kevin. I am taking your online classes. I've inherited a few nice old chairs that need a refresh, and I figure if Jimmy can do it, I can do it." How much fabric would I need for this first chair? I'd like to start with. And, I'm looking at it now. You know what? It's got an open back. It's got an upholstered seat, guys. I'm figuring on that one there, 2.5 minimum. But if you're a student and you're a little nervous, you might get 3 yards. And she's asking, how much fabric would I need? 3 yards or 2.5, which I just answered. How much webbing, padding, etc. I haven't taken off the bottom yet to see how it's made. It's still working on the coverage. Well, if she's just reupholstering it, she doesn't need any of that. She can just get like a little Dacron or cotton. A roll of cotton will do it, or a roll of Dacron. If she's reupholstering, if she's restoring, she really hasn't. She meaning her name is Patrick. Her name is.
I don't know.
Sorry, I don't have the name here. but she doesn't specify if it's a restoration, meaning taking it down to the wood, or reupholstery.
Mulaney.
Laney,
Mulaney.
Mulaney, and if she's if she's going to be taking it down to the frame, she would need to. Most of the times, you have to buy rolls of webbing, which would be just way too much for this chair. But she needs to get that. Make sure if she's going to get webbing, it's the red seat webbing, the BFM jute seat webbing, not the back webbing. I never use the back webbing because it sags too much. But she's got a choice. She's got a saddle seat here, guys. I don't know if you can see that. I'm pretty sure it's saddled, and so isn't the back saddled, meaning it profiles low. So this is one of the things you have to pay attention to. You can't pad out. She doesn't need much padding on that because you need to almost profile it with the wood, and the wood is thick. The wood's about 4 inches thick in the front. Why can't you pad out a saddle seat? Because you can't. It won't stretch properly and will wrinkle. You have to profile it, and then speaking of stretching, every piece of furniture is different. And if you guys sign up and you've watched me do these videos, I put a lot of attention into pin tacking and talking about stretching. Stretching's everything in this business. It's not like you're making slip covers. You're upholstering each section over a piece of furniture. Slip covering is much different. You just cut the patterns and cut it and sew it. But in upholstery, you have to stretch over padding, and that there's a big difference there. But I get into a lot of how to do that with the video. So if you're watching me for the first time and you're wondering what's the big deal, it's just you should know you should look at some of the videos or free videos and to see what we talk about stretching. But when we get into the online classes, um, we talk much more about it. We get more in depth. And Jimmy was a great student that way, Patrick.
He was.
He came fresh, so the questions that he asked, I think a lot of people can relate to. So a lot of times when somebody's teaching any subject for that matter, you tend to skim over or forget um, that these are beginners. So when you have somebody like Jimmy who comes to you fresh and is a beginner like that, actually Jimmy went into more of an intermediate student or maybe even advanced. It's good that it breaks it down. Breaking it down, breaking the subject matter down is important, and we do that really good. So if you guys are interested, if you're a YouTube fan and you want to see more and get into a little bit more, you should check those online classes out. We do pretty good on that, right, Patrick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of activity there.
Yeah. Now here we got upholstery class series, the Friends Couch Story. Somebody replied to that. We did, just to refresh, I don't know if you guys know, we did um, well, I'll tell you the story. It's kind of cool. Should I tell the story about that?
Yeah. Well, I read it before, but
I've told it before, but it's worth repeating because it's kind of funny. I get a call late one winter night. This was before COVID, right before COVID. When did COVID hit, Patrick? 2020? It was.
No, I cannot remember.
Huh?
It's out of my mind at this
I know, but it was the winter of the before that. Put it that way. And it was a really cold Friday night, dark Boston night. Think Boston Strangler, you guys. And I get this mysterious call. Hi, you don't know me, but I have a project for you, and I can't tell you what it is. It's a sofa, and I need it. I need you to repair it, but I can't tell you whose it is. I only can tell you where it is, and you can meet me tomorrow morning, and that's all I can tell you. Would you be interested? I said sure. And so she said, okay, you can meet me in the Fenway section of Boston, which is kind of the Fenway section of Boston, Patrick. At that time, it's not the Fenway it is now. Even a few years ago, there were warehouses that were kind of shaky in there, right? Shaky warehouses, I'll call them. And she gave me the address, and she said, "You're going to meet me at the front door. It will be open. You'll yell into the door my name. I can't remember her name. Let's say it was Kathy, and I'll come out and get you." That's what she said. So I go in. It's dark. I pull up to the warehouse. There's nobody out there. I get out of the van. I go to the door. I creak it open, and I go, "Hello, Kathy." And I hear a voice from way far away on the other side of a big warehouse, a dark warehouse. "I'll be right there." And so I'm in the door. I'm in there now, and I'm waiting, and I hear these high heels crossing across the warehouse, and I'm thinking to myself, "Now's the time to run." That was my chance to run, Patrick. It wasn't too late. And then finally, this woman's in front of me, and she said, "Follow me." It's still dark warehouse. I said, "Okay, I'm following." As I'm following her, we're going in these dividers, these office dividers. It's like a maze. It's like a mouse maze, you know. And as we're walking along, the lights are going on, like they were on an automatic, I guess, Patrick, right, timer. The lights are going on, and all of a sudden we're going around these corners and everything, and then all of a sudden a big light goes on, and I'm on the set of Friends. I couldn't believe it. There was the pool, there was the umbrella. The only thing missing was Jennifer Aniston and the other actors, Patrick. Right? The only thing that wasn't there were the actors. Everything else was there. It was the cafe, and then in the middle, of course, which was the feature of the whole show. I guess this would be an upholsterer's dream, wouldn't it, Patrick? To have this happen. But it actually did happen. And there it was, sad. It was sadly broken on one end. The fringe was on the ground, and she said, "We need this fixed like today because we're having this pop up." It was called a pop up where they would take, they moved the whole set. They, at that point, traveling around the country with it, and nobody knew at that point. So I fixed it, and Michaela, who's really a great artist, by the way. Michaela is a fabulous artist. She took illustration at Mass Art, which I don't think artists get all the credit that they deserve because her main thing is illustration. But what she did with the friend soap, instead of just taking a picture of it, anybody could do that. Michaela illustrated it out and colored it, and it looks great. Looks better than a picture. I don't know how that happens, right, Patrick?
No.
How does that happen? How does a Michaela, how does an illustration and a would you call that a painting or an illustration?
For what?
The
Again?
friend sofa that you
It's
did?
an illustration.
An illustration end up looking better than a photograph? I don't know, but it does, and she's got it in a nice frame, and she did that as well, some of the other furniture, and I've talked about this before, but it's kind of fun, was the, John Belushi sofa. She did a good job in that. She added her own little uh, character, John Belushi, on in there, and with his college, sweatshirt. One of his most famous movies was Animal House, of course, and then Lady Di's sofa chair and Napoleon's chair, H.R. Haldeman, Johnny Cash. I think I'm missing one, but anyhow, she did her own little take on each one of those, and really we have those at the shop. It's kind of neat. But if you're in business long enough, the people that you meet, it's pretty incredible. Boston is it being a historic town, you're gonna run into famous people, famous furniture, famous situations, and fun situations, which we did. Okay, so getting back to this question, I bought a secondhand Natuzzi, and there are recliners on each end. If you lay across the couch, you feel the dividers as well as some deflating of the arm cushions. Everything being sewn down. What would you suggest? I have found suggested to just stuff them underneath a layer of foam or some other sheet type fill over top of the supports. I think I like that idea better from the bottom. I haven't been able I haven't been under there yet, and I still have no idea what to do with the arms. I really appreciate re-upcycle professionals like this, so thank you for doing what you do. I think, I've talked to Patrick and Michaela about this. I think this is, if you guys operate in a business out there, or want to start a business, I think this is the future, really. Price points, at least in the furniture industry, have really come down. I mean, the reupholstery price points, at least in my area, has come down because I think of the saturation of the manufactured furniture and their price points, which I don't want to get into the economics of that, but there's a lot of reasons for that. And the quality and all that stuff, the manufacturer, we've talked about that. But reality is, I was thinking about this today. It's funny this question came in. The reality is, Patrick, every house that you go by in every street, in your town has upholstered furniture. So One of the we just advertised repairing upholstered furniture, right, Patrick?
Yeah.
Because I think people are more conscious of
I know we always done it, but
we
I
are,
think now more than
yeah, we're
before.
advertising, and I think it's a good idea. I think I might, in other words, Malcolm, I think I might be going in-house again, in-house upholstery and repairing again. It's kind of hard, setting up like that, but you know what? It could be, at least for now, part of the future of upholstery, which is fine. So
Yeah, we just told the Jimmy.
we're always, uh, that's mom. Tell her that I'm talking on live TV. Unless she, why don't you call her back? Make sure everything's okay, Patrick.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that could be the wave of the future. Okay, this is from Sharon. How to make a slip knot. She said thanks again. With the slip knot video, it's mainly about buttons, and we've saved. Speaking of saving people money, this slip knot video, the two that we did, really has saved a lot of people money with the button repair, doing their own button repair. The slip knot is essential for that, and we developed our own hack for that. And if you guys want, it's worth checking out. Doesn't work on every fabric. Wouldn't work on a silk or on some lightweight fabric, but on heavy fabric it works. And the upholstery show live. This is from uh, Carusa, Carusita. I just wanted to say I enjoy your channel. That's great. I always like to hear, guys, the encouragement. It really comes down to sometimes, the time investments in this, in the YouTube channel, in the beginning especially, and when we were building the YouTube channel with all those videos was enormous. I don't regret a minute of it. I think it's actually helped business too. We have the YouTube. We people do come to us doing upholstery or wanting to do upholstery because they saw us on YouTube and they figured, oh, if he's got a YouTube channel, maybe he knows what he's doing. I don't know. But it helps. It helps in it because it's all under the Google, right, Patrick?
Yeah,
It's all under the umbrella of a Google, right?
exactly.
So when you do a Google search, anything can come up, right?
Speaking of which, not Google, but you got a good review on Yelp. Some more good reviews are coming in.
Really?
Yeah, somebody left
Well,
something.
we pay $100 for those
Yeah,
videos.
my God.
Just kidding, Yelp. You don't pay anything. Those are hard earned. Those are hard earned because you can have 100 people who are happy with you, but what do you think percentage of 100 people actually do even do a review, Patrick? It's not even. It's less than one
This one
percent.
that came in was probably the first one in months, 3 months.
It's less than 1%. It's got to be. It's really small. I think people have good intentions. I think that they're happy. They just move on. They don't think about it. And I don't think it hurts. Again, if you're in business, I don't think it hurts mentioning it to people, saying it. Especially when they say, if a person says, "If there's anything I can do for you, you did a great job." I said, "Well, there is. If you wanted to give me a Yelp review, I'll tell them that." I don't think that hurts. You shouldn't be proud, right? Take the pride out. This is another comment on the upholstery show. This is from Oliver. Hello, I am the upholstery guy, Oliver from Canada, who called you personally a couple of months ago to say I love your channel and you look like a quality upholsterer. I am sorry that I've not been watching lately. I've been working so much in my business. Thanks for all you do. Well, this is the type of thing that I love to hear about, and I haven't heard from a couple of the early people who started a poll, like Blair. I haven't heard from Blair in a while, but that means that he's busy and he's doing good, I'm sure. I'm waiting. I don't think anybody yet has started their own YouTube channel doing upholstery, their own YouTube channel. I know they've done their own upholstery shots, but that would be kind of cool if they did that. But I really appreciate those comments, um, and thank you. Fix the pop button. There we go. Uh, Anywhere I can look to get good button thread, I keep getting waxed button thread and it seems to slip out of the knots. Well, actually, it's called tufting twine, and it's specifically called tufting twine. Um, and the thread that we use to hand sew does not work on buttons because it's not strong enough. But the tufting twine is, and that's what you want. That's what you want to look for. Tufting twine. Um, that's exactly what you want. Basic fabric cuts. So this is interesting too. We spent a lot of time on cutting fabric, and again, cutting upholstery fabric while you're upholstering is a lot different than cutting a slip cover around arms and the like. These are fabric cuts around, usually around arms and posts and things like that. Eileen says, "Thank you so much." The main difference is you need to stretch the fabric first before it's cut properly to the chair. And sometimes that's very tricky because you could be stretching a fabric over a seat, for instance, and then the fabric tends to, you know, angle out in a funny way. And you really have to think about the approach on the cut with the fabric angle. It's interesting. We've got into this a little bit on a few of the YouTube videos, and especially, like I said, the classes, the paid classes. But you can easily make a mistake. Another thing that trips people up is that most of us are right-handed or left-handed. Not many ambidextrous people out there, but you have to adjust to that. It's kind of hard as a. It's easier on a right for a right-handed person to make a cut on the left part of the chair than it is on the right part of the chair because you actually have to contort your body in order to get the proper angle on the cut, and that's where a lot of people make the mistake when they're cutting. They're still cutting. You always go with the easy cut first, and then they'll go to the other side of the chair, and assuming that they don't have to move their body, they're still in the front of the chair, and then almost always make a wrong cut. So pay attention to. This is what I tell people. Imagine the fabric. I know that this is hard for people too, because it's easy for me because I've been doing this for so long, and I have a three-dimensional brain. I don't know, or imagination, if that makes any sense. But visualize the cut after it's been cut, after the fabric has been cut into the back of the chair or whatever you're trying to do. Because you're usually looking for an even amount of fabric on both sides of the cut. So that's another way of looking. In most cases, there are some cases where that's not true. I'm closing my eyes now because I'm seeing all this in my head, but it's a case by case too. I mean, that's why the classes are really good. I wish I had these classes when I was learning. I mean, I can remember the mistakes that I made. Boy, and you can make a costly mistake. You run out of fabric, you have to order more fabric. It's a problem. Um, Upholstery posture, applying French nails. That's interesting too. Um, I find that very useful information. Again, some people just naturally are able to crouch into a position. It's almost like a lotus. What's that lotus position, Patrick? Do you know what that is, Michaela? What is the lotus position? Huh?
No, no, no,
See, isn't that in yoga, isn't it? Well, they do these positions anyhow. So I can't believe I made a video about this, but I did. And Patty 1 month ago said, "Oh, she's commenting on how many subscribers, Patrick.
yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
26.7 thousand," and she says, "Congratulations." And, like I said, you know what, guys? I was never one to. I think there are some YouTube channels that just want subscribers, so they do crazy stuff, right, Patrick? I don't know. We never did that. I really feel as though most of our videos have substance, right, Patrick?
Yeah, informative.
They're informative. They have substance. Sometimes those videos get less subscribers than if I was out, I don't know, driving a
Running
sofa,
around town naked or something.
putting wheels on a sofa and driving a sofa down the street or something. And we could easily do stuff like that, couldn't we? As a matter of fact, when we first started in YouTube, which was 2011, I always like to talk about this. Patrick was much younger. How old were you, Patrick? Like
18 or
you were younger than that, I thought.
17.
But YouTube it started out really goofy, didn't it? It started out with just kids on skateboards and
And now it's like
GoPro, and
make a
now
living.
it's mainstream. It's like, I'm being a Catholic. I'm Catholic, and I see priests and archbishops and even the Pope. It's taken on.
Really, the Pope's on YouTube?
I'm not sure about the Pope, but there's bishops that I like that are on YouTube. So it's taken on, and politicians and uh, authors and all kinds of it's become very legitimate. But in the beginning, I remember this very well. Um, Somebody contacted us, and we did some serious ones too, but we did some goofy ones. Remember?
Yeah.
Did you
You
take
falling
those down, Patrick?
You
did,
falling down the steps. The
did you
cushions
take
falling off.
those down?
No, they're still up.
Anyhow, we realized that people relied on our videos to maybe even earn a living. And we did get a call or an email from a woman who was supplementing her income to support her two children. And I said to Patrick, you know what? I think we need to maybe take another look at this and be more serious, which we did. The upholstery show live 1 month ago. So people are watching the live show later, right, Patrick?
Yep.
So that's good. That's where these comments come in.
Yep.
All right. YouTube. Malcolm says YouTube is a global broadcasting company now of user-generated content. How do you feel about? Are they gonna AI me, Patrick, at some point?
You might end up on one of those.
I will tell you that I am live right now. I am not a robot, Malcolm. I hope that you aren't a robot either. But you'll always know that I'm not a robot. How? I don't
There's too many
know. Too many mistakes, my son says. But on a serious side, talk about this bishop that I like, Bishop Barron. I was watching. I used to watch his YouTube. I don't watch him anymore because I don't know. Somebody took his character, and he was saying things that were a little off.
mistakes.
And I was thinking, this doesn't sound like the bishop that I know.
So you fell for it.
Well, in the beginning I did, and then I realized AI is good. They can actually take people. How do they do
They're
that?
probably gonna take what you're saying now and make a video.
Well,
A video about AI, an AI video about you talking about it.
oh,
I saw a post on Instagram that AI, the computers and everything used as much water as the bottled water franchise annually.
what do you
And
mean?
produced enough uh, pollution of the entire state of New York.
The AI did that?
Yeah, AI is not good.
No, in most cases it isn't. I have some instances where AI was interesting, like Wikipedia, for instance. Unless if you can believe the information that you get when you Google things and how fast you get information. If you ask a question, it comes up. If you can believe it, if trust it, I imagine. But there's got to be some benefits to it, right? Anyhow, I'm actually loving. This is from Sylvia. I'm actually loving the videos, and I do have a question. How do you get corners square with the piping? I have curved corners. Any tips? Well, she's asking how to get corners square around curved corners. Well, I don't understand that. Um, but if you have a curve, the trick with the piping is to take not your scissors. Now, I bet Malcolm knows this. I bet Malcolm knows this trick. But on the salvage part of your welt, and not make sure you don't go into your seam. Take side cutters and not your scissors, because scissors, even if you have sharp pair of scissors, you can overcut on scissors. On your side cutters, your wire cutters are better at doing this because they take the blades are smaller and you can see it better. This is just a real good hack, you guys. Actually, side cutters are like I use the side cutters for a lot of things. And then you take it and make little cuts about every half inch or 3/4 of an inch around where it's curved. And what it does is it softens the piping, right? Because the flange is pulling it tight. Softens the pipe. It makes it a lot easier to go around a curve. Now she asked two questions there, I think. On a corner, you can just take one clip, and then after you get the cushion done and you turn it around, you take your mallet and mallet down your corners to really get a sharp, crisp corner. I'm sure Malcolm knows this too. Malcolm says it is a huge problem now in politics and societies. Not enough regulation is being enacted to counteract it. And I think you have to be really careful. And I think AI itself, if AI was smarter than if it was smart, it probably should self-regulate itself, right, Patrick? Because nobody's going to trust AI. But I think I see it's kind of a great fallout to this, Patrick. You know what it is? I think people got to start reading books again and start going out into the take walks again. And they're going to want more tangible things, I think, and I think that's not a bad thing. So maybe that's what ultimately is going to happen. What do you think? You got any opinion on that, Patrick?
Oh, they were talking about the audience.
No,
No, I just don't really care.
you don't care.
I know how to identify it, so I just
Well, I
some of
got
them are actually
fooled.
really funny.
Are you sure you've identified all the AI in your life as AI?
Yes, you are. No,
A sofa headboard hybrid. Oh, this is interesting. That was the video we did? I don't even remember that. Do you remember that? A sofa headboard hybrid?
that was a long time ago.
Wow. This is a long question. This is from Jane. I have a newer but well made sofa purchased from Habitat for Humanity. That's nice. I actually love the sofa, but I've changed my living room seating to sectional, and my apartment living room isn't large enough to accommodate the sofa as well. I've been thinking of converting it into a headboard, huh? But I have no idea how to remove the bottom. Oh, I know what she's trying to do. Oh, that's cool. My foam mattress is 12 inches deep, and and to see the headboard, the bottom bench of the sofa has to be removed. How can I accomplish that? Oh, that's cool. This was 3 weeks ago, Patrick. So what she has, she's got a sofa. You know, you guys visualize a sofa. Let's say it's a tuxedo sofa. Just tuxedo sofa would probably be the best example. And you take the cushions off, and you're left with the frame. And she's saying that she wants to take the interior out, the seat portion, leave the arms, leave the back, and make it into a headboard. I think that's a terrific idea. Have I ever heard about that before? I think talk about reuse. I think it's a great idea because you're talking a king size headboard is what, Malcolm, you probably know this. I don't have my Google. I'm not Googling anything. What is 90 inches, 80 to 90 inches or whatever it is. What tuxedo sofas can be that big. So she's so asking, how do you remove, first she has to gut it first. Don't gut the whole thing. Keep the upholstery on the inside back and the outside back. Loosen everything up. Then she has to gut everything that's on the seat down to the frame, and then she just needs to cut the frame. All she needs to do really is cut the front, leave all the backs and the sides, cut the front frame, and she's got her headboard. That's cool. I mean, I don't think it's as hard as I think she might be overthinking it. Um, that could be a good YouTube video, Patrick. We should probably, if we're gonna start up the YouTube channel up again, it probably should be focused on these, I don't like to call them hacks, but repurposing furniture, repurposing. I have 2 club chairs to shop now. They're leather club chairs. They were expensive, and the guys really used these. And they had a double pillow back, and the top pillow is all worn and all. What I'm doing is we bought some Naga hide. We're just replacing the top. So that's an example there of repurposing and saving money. And I think so. People are trying to save money big time these days. Malcolm says where the arms attach to the back may be an issue. That's true, and you might be left with a little flimsy front. So she might have to, once she gets the bed in, or even she might have to run like a 2x4, not a 2x4, but maybe something even smaller, a piece of wood along the bottom in the front. That won't interfere with the bed going in. And she needs to do that so that she doesn't have that flex in the arms. Um, definitely, and that's definitely something she can do easy. And then she's probably going to reupholster that. And I don't know what type of sofa she has, but if she had a tufted sofa and she had a queen or twin bed that she's trying to do that would be cool too. And keep the she's trying to if it's in good shape, sounds like it is. It sounds like she wants to reuse the fabric. But that's interesting. Fabric pattern placement. Oh my God, we could talk forever about this too. And in that video, we must have done more than one video on that, Patrick, because that's a lot. That's a big subject. I had it come up recently. A customer of mine designers don't care about patterns. They only care about color. Um, they find a fabric that they like the color. They don't care if it has a 800-inch repeat, as long as the colors work. It's up to the upholsterer oftentimes to make sense of it, and that's one of the things you have to do. You have to work with fabrics sometimes that are brought to you, or fabric somebody falls in love with, and you have to make it work to the piece of furniture. And so this is what this was about, this video. So this is from Jay Henderson. This is something not often discussed, and yet it's so important. Often you see these fabrics used in deep button chairs, and the original design ends up like a heated up crisp packet. Not at all the designer intended. Right. I have a question. You could center these orange flowers by seaming along the salvage, perhaps. Would would there be an issue with this? I only see a problem with salvage seaming on a fabric, not tufting. You don't want to be tufting when you do that. It has to be something straight. It's not tufted or buttoned even. But there was another question in there that it brings up an important point. When traditional furniture, when it first came out, I mean, the choices of fabric were very bland in the beginning. Uh, Boy, you only had horsehair fabric, which had like was a little stripy. Think a horse's tail. Horses' tails were where they took when they made horsehair fabric. It was the tail section. No, and the horsehair that we use to stuff with is the body. But that was pretty basic. And then a little bit more advanced horsehair would be would have the diamond patterns, a very black horsehair. Really, is what the choice. Silk was another choice. Expensive. These are, relatively speaking, these are much more expensive than fabrics today. Only the very wealthy would be able to use this to upholster with, but oftentimes they were bland, plain fabrics. I get the point I'm trying to make is it was the upholsterer's artistry that enhanced the fabric, not the other way around. So we would do diamond tufting, we would do channel backs, we would do button arrangements, we would do overstuffed arms, we would do stitched arms, all kinds of different designs to enhance a fabric. Of course, now so it's kind of funny when somebody gets a fabric that's busy and they want to tuft it. Tufting gets lost in the business of the fabrics. It doesn't make any sense. So you try to, a lot of my work is consulting with people ahead of time with fabrics. And Michaela does it. Michaela helps people with fabrics, and she's got a good sense of scale. A lot of people drop. Designers don't care, like I said, they just go by color. But I pay attention to scale. I pay attention to color. I pay attention, obviously, to fabric placement. That's important. If somebody does have a pattern, it's important. So check out those videos. And Patrick, do we have any other business? Because I'm all done with these.
Not that I can think of. Not much going on. Next week's Christmas.
So Malcolm does say where the arms attached to the back, maybe. Oh, yeah, it's attached. Yeah. So if you guys are watching this later, please comment so that we can address in the next segment. We are hoping that we get more regular, right, Patrick?
Yeah,
With
we
this.
always say that.
I know, but let's. It's winter time. It's cold now. With people are less traveling and things like that. We should be able to do this. We are hopefully teaching a class in January, but we're not sure because it's not filling up. Classes, guys, have changed. I don't know if you guys ever considered teaching, Malcolm, but things have changed since COVID. Definitely, especially around maybe New England or something. I'll give you an example.
I don't think that's the case. If you go back to,
He doesn't think so.
I think the pricing
could be
high. I know there's a lot of these classes that are full are like $20 per class. They're
okay.
really cheap stuff. You know what I mean? You get bring a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And the materials aren't expensive. The reason why a class is so expensive is the materials, right? How
maybe it brings up another point. Instead of having an expensive class and having not, we didn't run the last class because we needed a minimum and there wasn't a minimum. You could even offer, what do they call them? Seminars instead of classes where you don't even charge people.
Yeah, that's what I think you might want to do.
So maybe that's you'd rather have 12 people in a class or in a seminar or more. for one night seminars, and then you potentially can get customers that way. It's all about getting customers, right?
I think you can find a way to do it differently where there's nothing you can do about how much you charge for let's like that for a reason
Right.
with the full upholstery class. That's why people want something quick and cheap. But upholstery isn't that. You're
No.
thinking of upholstery, it's got to be you're teaching them pretty much how to upholster. You're doing they have to do their own full piece.
Right. Right. All right. So, in order the business, right, Patrick?
So
So,
I say if we don't see you next week, it's Christmas. Have a
have
Merry
a,
Christmas.
have a merry, great holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy whatever you guys celebrate, and we hope to see you again.
Yep.
And Malcolm says, I think people got to YouTube rather than it. Oh, that's a
Yeah.
good point.
No.
Happy holiday, Malcolm. See you
Thanks,
later.
Malcolm. See you guys.
Thanks for being here, Malcolm.